I've lost 22 pounds of body fat, which was 10% of my total body fat. Stick around, I'm going to show you how I did it. Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey Troxel. First, before we get into this, I want to thank our financial supporters, Patreon and PayPal. If you've ever seen the show and thought, how can I help? How can I be part of this? That's how you can help. You can become a financial supporter. There's a link in the description below this video and how you can support the show. All right, so I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been successful for me. I'm going to have the 3 things I did, the 3 secrets, which are not really secret, the 3 secrets I followed to have a successful body recomposition. I don't really believe in recompositioning. People are like, oh, you're going to turn your fat into muscle, and that's just not how it works. Fat is fat, muscle is muscle. And the way I did this, it's really hard to build muscle. You'll see that I haven't built any muscle. All I've done is got rid of the fat. But I look more muscular because there's no fat surrounding the muscle. So all of that plays into it. But I'm going to tell you the 3 things I did. Let's get started. The very first thing I did was I started resistance training. So I went into the gym. I went to a trainer like just on my street here, between here and work, which is just a few miles. And every day I pass this trainer, and I'm like, I'm gonna go in there. And this is in December of 2023. And I had been, doing the starch solution and trying to manage calories on my own, and I just was not successful, and I felt like I needed help. So I don't know, I just got a whim on me in December 7th or 8th, 2023. And I'm like, I'm just gonna stop in and see what this guy says. So I went in, it was a personal trainer, or he had his own private gym, and we talked, and he gave me a lot of information. And one of the things he said is, you need to be on a weight training regimen. You need to be, consistently doing resistance training. That's the only way that you're going to keep and build muscle if you're trying to lose weight. So that involved me starting a 3 to 4 day a week gym regimen. So weight training was absolutely scary at first. I had weight trained before. I was in shape before, back in my 30s, but that was 20 years ago. And since then I've been married, I have a kid, I have a career, I just have a lot going on. And I didn't know that I could make this work every day, like 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Also, the idea of going to a gym with other people there in better shape and me feeling inferior, that all played into it too. But the personal trainer thing was great because it's a private gym. It's only his clients. So, I'm only seeing people who he's training, which is most likely, overweight people, right? That's why they're there. So I felt like that really gave me the incentive to go. And I can tell you that I went for a year, and I did not miss a day. One of the things the personal trainer gave me was accountability. Like, if I didn't miss any days, but I've had to call a few times and go, hey, I can't make it on Thursday, I'll just come in on Friday. And he's like, all right, well, I better see you Friday. All right, I'll be there. And, I made sure I was there. The other thing is, you're hiring this person. Like, it's not cheap, right? So, and you pay for the month, whether you go or not. So every dollar matters to me. I'm a teacher. So, I was not going to pay for a month of workouts at 3 times a week and then go once a week, right? And then not next. I'm not doing that. That's a lot of money that I would lose. So money was definitely, as much as I hated paying for the trainer for the year, it forced me to not miss a day and to stay consistent. So, in that aspect, it was absolutely worth every dime I spent. I would have continued with it longer if I could afford to do it. But I knew it was a temporary thing, and a year was really the best I could give it. So the commitment and accountability with the trainer, absolutely worth every dime. We set up a regimen where my split was, I did chest and back on Mondays. Then I did shoulders and arms on Wednesdays. I skipped Tuesday because it's a long day with table tennis and all that for school. And then on Thursdays, I did leg day. And then on Saturdays, I would come in and do kind of a core day to kind of, beef up the rest of me that just like abs and that sort of stuff. And I'd be there for an hour doing all the core stuff. So that was my 4 days a week. And, that's basically how I did it. All right, the second thing I did, calorie deficit. I had to learn the hard way, and I've talked about this before, that this is not magic. Losing weight isn't magic. There's muscle and there's fat. So you're working out to build, although you need a calorie surplus to build muscle, but you're working out to build or maintain muscle. That's the weight training part. The fat loss or the weight loss, that's all diet. Like, that's not the muscle. So I had been following the starch solution and not counting calories and, like eating like all these people who just eat lots of starches and, they were all whole food plant-based and it's working for them. And, it wasn't really working for me. So I had to come to the realization that I am not like everyone else. So we needed me to be in a calorie deficit. And the calorie deficit is based on how much, your body burns normally just by existing. That's your BMR. And then add on top of that any exercise you get on a daily basis. And then you've got your maintenance calories. So you need to be lower than your maintenance calories to lose weight, or higher than your maintenance calories if you're trying to put on weight like muscle or something. At this point, I was just trying to lose fat. I didn't really care about building muscle. I mean, I have some muscle and all that, but that's because I had that before. It was just covered with fat. So calorie deficit, that's what we were doing. He explained how this was going to work, and we figured out my maintenance calories was somewhere around 18 or 1900 a day. That was based upon my age and how much fat I was carrying at the time, which was 33.1%. That was my body fat in December of 2023. So my maintenance was about 18 or 1900 calories. You want to have a 500 calorie deficit each day. So if you're at, 1800, then you're at 1300 calories for food intake, and that would give you a 500 calorie deficit. I was at 1400 calories for my food intake, so I was at about 1900, somewhere between 18 and 19. So 500 calorie deficit every day would have been at about 1400 calories. So that's what I was doing, 1400 calories. The thing with that is, weight loss is not magic. I had to have the trainer explain to me that it was math. And once he did that, once I understood that this was all math, I had it. Because I'm a teacher, right? I understand math, right? Math is not scary or magical, right? It's just math. It's numbers. They either work out or they don't. And if they don't, you have a problem and you need to fix something. That's what happened. So my 1400 calories a day to be in a calorie deficit, because my maintenance is about 1900, someone doing on the internet doing a high carb diet and all that, their maintenance is probably around 3800 calories. So they're doing that high starch diet. They're still going to be in a calorie deficit, right? Because, they're eating starches and non-starches. They're probably eating 2000 calories a day. They're still probably going to be in a huge deficit. They could probably go to 2500 calories a day and be in a huge deficit. Me, because I'm smaller, I'm only 5'2", I don't have a lot of place to put muscle. My BMR, my total daily energy expenditure is a lot less. Short people are blessed with a very efficient metabolism. They can do everything they need to do without any extra help on about 1200 calories a day, 1200 to 1400 calories, which is pretty scary. Anything more than that, they start storing it, which is really hard to imagine. But that's how it is. So I was in a calorie deficit. I had to come up with all new recipes, stuff that would fill me up with a lot less calories. So I started creating new recipes and all that. We figured out a 500 calorie deficit because 500 calories times 7 days a week is 3,500 calories at the end of the week that you're down. And it is a weekly thing, right? You can break it up however you want each day. And 3,500 calories a week down, that's what it takes to lose 1 pound of body fat. 1 pound of body fat is 3,500 calories worth of fat. So that's where that comes from. You can do less than 500 calories a day for a deficit. You can do a 250 calorie a day deficit. But you're going to take, you're only going to lose a half a pound of body fat a week. So it all depends on what your goals are. I was pretty far overweight. I was 33.1%. I think I have it here. 33.1% body fat, which is disgusting. I wanted to do the 500 pounds a week. So number 1, started weight training. Number 2, calorie deficit. Without a calorie deficit, you are not losing fat. It doesn't matter what program you're doing. If you're trying to lose fat, I wanted to lose weight, but I wanted it to be fat. So I had to stick with this. If you want to lose fat or not muscle, then you will have to be in a calorie deficit. So there you go. All right. The third thing I did, and I mean, people talk about this all the time. I talk about it all the time. I made the switch to a higher protein diet. And that was essential. And there's so many reasons why. The biggest reason was protein protects muscles from being lost when your body needs to burn something. So I'm in a calorie deficit, right? My body's 500 calories short for what it needs because I'm exercising and all that. And it's like, I need energy. I need fuel. What am I going to take? There's muscle, which looks attractive, and there's fat. I'm going to eat one of those. Well, having enough protein protects the muscle, so the body takes the fat. And I'll show you what my numbers are here and how that worked out. And it is absolutely true. But protein protects your muscle when you're in a weight loss. The other thing is that protein, it costs your body more to burn it than it does to burn carbohydrates or fat. So the thermogenesis of food works by you burn calories to burn certain things, and you burn a lot more calories doing protein. So if you're going to have something to eat protein, because you'll burn a lot more calories burning it, just eating it than you will, with everything else. So that's kind of a big thing. Plus, proteins contain the amino acids that you need to build muscle. So by having enough of that, your body's constantly protecting the muscle. So I had weight training, number 1, calorie deficit, number 2, making sure I had enough protein, number 3. Those 3 things got me through all this. I mean, I still have a way to go, right? I'm not there yet. My goal is to be at about 15% body fat, and I'm not there. But let me go over the numbers and show you where I've come. I started this whole thing off at 175 pounds, and that was on the scale at the trainer when I first went there. My scale's at 178 pounds, so his was very good to me. The body fat was 33.1%. He did the, you stand on the thing and you hold the handles, and the machine rotates you around. It's a Staiku scan. You may have heard of DEXA scans. It's like that, but you're vertical and spinning around. But anyway, the body fat was 33.1. My fat mass, the amount of fat, if you took all the fat and put it in one clump, was 57.9 pounds. Almost 60 pounds of my 175 pounds, was body fat. That's a huge number. Like, it was crazy huge. And my muscle, the amount of muscle of that 175 pounds, the amount of muscle I was carrying, if you put all that together, was 112.5 pounds. And you want to remember that number, because I'm going to go over it again. That was December 7th, 2023. Currently, it is January 30th, 2026. That is 2 years later. 2 years and like a month later, but 2 years later. The current weight is 154.2 pounds. So that's a weight loss of about 20 pounds, 21 pounds. My body fat was 33.1%. It's 22.9% right now. Again, still working my way to 15%. That is 10% I've lost of body fat. Like, that's a lot. That's a crazy amount. Now, it took 2 years. Like, it didn't happen overnight, but it took a while. The muscle mass was 112.5 pounds, and I lost, 20, well, I haven't told you that, but I've lost a bunch of weight. The muscle mass after the weight loss, it was 112.5, 112.2. I lost 0.3 pounds of muscle during all this. And that's because I protected my muscle with the protein. That's what the high protein's for. So there you go. The body fat mass was 57.9 pounds, so 58 pounds of body fat. My body fat mass now is 35.3. That is a crazy drop in body fat. That's a drop of 22.6 pounds of pure fat, which is pretty exciting. So, I lost 22 pounds, 20 pounds, 22 pounds. I'm probably carrying, there's a 2 pound difference. I'm probably carrying 2 pounds of water on me easily, because I'm drinking a lot of water. But what an adventure. But, just so you know, it took 2 years to get this far. It did not happen. Like, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to lose 60 pounds in 9 months. No, you're not. And I don't know that would even be safe to do. It took a long time, years and years and years, to get that fat on. It's not coming off that fast, right? Plus, I don't have any like side effects from it. I don't have any skin issues or extra skin or any of that, because it's just a gradual loss over 2 years. I would expect another year for the rest of it to get to where I need to be, but, I'm fine with that. I'm just chiseling away. All right, so let me know in the comments below. Like, is this what you're doing? How has your luck worked out? I am a vegan, right? So I've had to change what I eat and change my recipes to get my 140 grams of protein, which is what I was doing. in 1400 calories. That was really hard. So I really had to embrace seitan and tempeh and like fava bean tofu, because those are so high in protein and so low in calories. But, it's been worth it. My meals now are much more heartier, while being higher in protein and lower in calories. And I'm still fitting in, if I want to have a few extra calories on the weekend or something, I can. I just have to cut back from the rest of the week so the numbers work out at the end, in my weekly numbers. That's our video for today. Leave a comment below, click that like button, click on the subscribe button, click that bell. You get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Tuesday. If I would love to hear your stories. Like you have been following me, my story. I was frustrated for so many years. I started Plant-Based Dads in 2018, and through 2023, I made progress and I fell back, and I made progress and I fell back. And it was just hard to be like on camera and the public, knowing that I was just struggling like this. And so many of you identified with me because I was struggling, which was really cool. But I wanted to show you that I was really working hard, and I just felt like that didn't come across. And finally, starting in 2023, I got the help I needed by just speaking with someone that was outside of what I do, and it all made perfect sense. So I hope that you can do that also. I've got plenty of recipes for high protein vegan food. Just check out the channel, and leave your comments and thoughts below. I can't wait to hear them. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, I'm Joey Troxel, and today I'm going to talk about how I went from being a short, fat guy to being much closer to my goal of looking physically fit. I'm doing this by not only monitoring my weight, but my muscle mass and my body fat too, knowing when my plans are working and knowing when I need to change things up a bit. First, let's talk about the device I'm using to help me measure my progress correctly. I absolutely love the BodyPod by Hume. It's a smart scale device that, as you can guess, tracks your body weight, but it also gives you so much more information about your body composition with a medical grade accuracy of 98%, which up until now has been unavailable to the average person. I used to pay to get Staiku, DEXA, and other 3D scans, but that wasn't really sustainable, and I could only afford them maybe once or twice a year. With the BodyPod, all of this information is accessible to me every day for less than the price I used to pay for just one scan. One of the tools this scale uses to give you such accuracy is the handle. The handle allows it to get your measurements from both your upper body and lower body, compared to most other smart scales that just use your lower body readings to approximate your measurements. Hey, not all people are the same, and we store fat differently. So if you want to be accurate, you'll want to measure correctly and measure both the upper and lower body. The BodyPod comes with a free app that shows you a breakdown of all your metrics, and it breaks it down into measurements for each individual body part. There is a paid upgrade available, but everything I'm showing you here is part of the free app, and that's what I use for myself. The app shows you subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, muscle mass, BMR, heart rate, and so much more. It's really detailed in the amount of information it presents. You can track your patterns and changes over time to see if the number on the scale going up means you've gained more muscle and burned off some fat, or if you are truly gaining fat and need to make a change in your diet. The many different charts track lots of metrics. While I pay attention to weight, I usually closely monitor body fat percentage and lean muscle mass to make sure the weight I'm losing is fat and not muscle. You can't tell this by using a standard type scale. It just gives you a number. What does that mean? Having the BodyPod is a good reassurance to know that you're on the right track with muscle gain and fat loss, regardless of what the actual number on a traditional scale would normally tell you. Plus, the BodyPod qualifies for payment with your FSA or HSA. You can choose the Flex option at the payment window. Since regular scales don't work with your body composition, they don't qualify. The BodyPod is linked in the description below this video, or you can check it out at myhumehealth.com. And use the code PlantBasedDads at checkout. They're running a 50% off sale currently as I'm filming this video. So if you've been thinking about getting a smart scale, now is the time to check it out. Plus, with my discount link or with my code PlantBasedDads at checkout, you get an extra 15% off on top of whatever special they're running at the time. Yeah, baby! The BodyPod has made all the difference in my journey, and now that information is accessible to you every single day.